Testing. Now it's on. Okay. Yep, that sounds good. Exactly. I could turn on some YouTube videos. They're like, they're having fun in there. What's Crystal and Renee doing? That would be great. Okay, so then I'll have to go back and forth here to progress the slides, yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Lopez. You're amazing. Okay, so we're going to record this so that those who weren't able to join us today can view it online. So we'll have access to it after today as well. And that way people can still get healthy credit for it as well. So it's the self-reporting, where I believe you go to mysigna.com, and it's I think it says a My Report tab or My Profile tab, and you just go in, and all you have to do is put the date, and then I think that's just the date. That's it. So it just records that you attended a Still Healthy event. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Crystal Hendron. I'm a learning advisor here at ATSU. I'm also staff council chair. This will be my second year, so just really happy, to be working here and working with such wonderful people and collaborating on some awesome events that we have here at the university. So I was asked to come this week to talk about setting goals for the new year, with it being February. And it could be a time where people might have set some goals around New Year's Eve, and then those goals might have fallen by the wayside by now since it's February. So it's kind of hard to start or to establish new habits and to implement them into our daily schedule, and life gets busy, and obviously all the time, we move forward, and we kind of forget about what our goals are and that kind of thing. So today we're going to do a reflective exercise that is going to walk you through how to reflect on how last year went and what your goals were, and then to carry forward through this year and setting and establishing and writing down some goals for 2018. So the first part, so we're going to do a lot of writing, and there's a handout that goes with this presentation or this seminar, and it's mostly, like I said, a reflective individual exercise. We're going to be answering a lot of questions. So if you need access to the handout, if you're watching this online, then email me and I'll be happy to share the handouts with you, the Best Year Ever 2018 handouts that go along with this. Okay, so the first part, it says here, where it says start here. It is mathematically impossible to get directions to a new destination if you don't know where you are starting from. The same can be said about your life. To create the best year of your life, you must start where you are. So let's take a powerful look back on your 2017. So the first part, we have some questions that we have put together for you to address. And the first one is to think about everything that happened in your life this past year. So this would be referring back to 2017, and everything that didn't happen in 2017, and describe what it was like for you. Describe what it was like to be you this last year. Another question is, do you remember what your goals were for 2017? And if yes, describe a few of the goals you achieved this year. What goals did you perhaps blow off or fail to achieve, and why? And who or what are you grateful for being a part of your 2017? Who or what are you grateful for being a part of your 2017? So those are a few questions that participants need to spend a few moments reflecting on, and then writing, a couple of quick sentences to document how last year went for them. So I'll give everyone a few minutes to take a look at that. The topics that we're going to run through today are going to involve health, love, work, and fun. Those are the 4 areas. So health, love, work, and fun. So we're going to assess how all 4 of those areas went last year, and then help you to determine your goals for this year, for 2018. All right. As you're reflecting and thinking about how things went in 2017, we're going to break it down into each of those 4 categories and take a closer look. A little bit more of a critical inquiry, a closer look at those 4 individual areas of how they went this past year, so you can decide on what areas, or excuse me, what your goals could be for this year, and to document them. The first area we're going to take a closer look at is health. It says the objective is for you to acknowledge what happened in 2017, the good, the bad, the awesome, and the ugly. This exercise will help you stop, assess, learn, and ground yourself before you set your new goals for 2018. It will allow you to complete your year with honesty and integrity. Like I said, you must first know where you are before you can figure out where you want to go. Doing so is critical to creating what you want in 2018 with clarity and power. So I have a new acronym that we can all use. It says, this is for health. So this page, we're on the health page. And it says, forget BMI. Health is your BMS, which stands for it's your body, mind, and spirituality. Does that ring a bell to anybody? With our mission of our university with body, mind, and spirits, our osteopathic principles and mentalities, that it takes alignment of all 3 to reach the best version of yourself. So no more BMI. Let's talk about your BMS. And we can make that an acronym that people are aware of around our campus and helping us setting our goals. So for the health aspect, it says describe your wins, losses, and total face plants with your health in 2017. Did you push yourself outside your comfort zone to become healthier? If so, what did you do? Did you surprise yourself or let yourself down? What was your biggest victory and your biggest struggle this year with your health? So I would like everyone to take a moment to reflect on that and to write a brief sentence or 2 about how things went health-wise last year. And then at the bottom of the page, you'll see it says, as you end 2017, gauge how you feel about your health. And there's a nice little meter at the bottom that I think is pretty cool. And it's like a gas tank. Is your gas tank empty or is it full? And empty says, you can circle or draw a line like your speedometer would say in your car. Empty would be no comment, meh, fine, great, or awesome. It would be awesome if your health tank was full. So you just kind of assess where you think you were at last year. That's for last year. On the slide, you see that the picture I chose, it says every time you eat or drink, you're either feeding disease or fighting it. And from a Living Well program that I've been working on this year through ATSU, was offered through ATSU, our trainer's name is Brian, and he said that for weight loss, and this is coming from a physical trainer, he said weight loss is best earned in the kitchen. That the biggest hurdle is going to be food. It's not necessarily the exercise that can come down the road or whatever, but it's really what you're eating. It's what you're eating, and it's going to make the biggest difference in a person's overall health. So every time you eat, think, and feel, you're either helping your body or hurting it. So choose wisely, it says. Okay, the next topic, we're going to go ahead and move on to love. One of my favorite topics, isn't it everyone's? So love, reflecting on love. All right, so this segment of our lives is about our relationships that are extremely important to us. It's regarding your love life, your friendships, and your family. We're still reflecting back on 2017. So it says, describe your year. Did you feel loved? Did you express it as much as you wanted to? Or did you notice a lack of connection to the people in your life? Did you have any experiences that surprised you or scared you? If so, I want you to write it down. Where do you feel fully loved? Where is love missing in your life? Some other probing questions to maybe think about is, what was the most difficult conversation you had this last year in 2017? What moment did you feel the most loved this past year? And can you describe a specific example of when you showed someone you loved them this past year? I'll give everybody a chance to think about those questions and to write a couple of sentences describing how your love life went last year, your love relationships. You'll see the graphic that I use for this slide is love languages. I'm not sure if everyone has heard about love languages. It's a book written by Gary Chapman. If you haven't heard of it, I recommend for you to check it out. Love languages are different ways that people prefer to receive love and to feel loved. And the 5 areas that are listed on the graphic is first one is like words. The words are words of affirmation. So when someone affirms you and shares in like verbally what their thoughts are, what their feelings are for you, such as telling you that they love you or telling you that they appreciate all the things that you do for them, it's expressing their love through words. And some of us prefer that type of love language. We need to hear it in order to feel like we're loved. Another love language is gifts. So some of us enjoy receiving gifts to express our love. The gifts what I've been reminded before is that gifts do not have to be of high monetary value per se. It can be if you have the budget. We just had Valentine's Day, so we all know the value or the cost of supporting Valentine's Day every year. So, but it could be a card. That it could be a homemade card. It could be anything that is a gift. Someone when they say, I was this item reminded me of you and I wanted to share it with you. And so it's the sentiment behind the gift. But it also, I think for gifts, I think it tells the person that they were thinking of you when you weren't there, when you weren't around. So that means you're on their mind and they want to express how much they love you and they want to give you something to show you, to express the love that they have for you. And some people prefer to be loved like that. Another love language is touch. It's physical touch. So these are going to be folks that enjoy hugs. They're huggy people. They might like cuddling on the couch, just sharing, being intimate with each other and physically close, so watching a movie and cuddling on the couch. That could be someone who enjoys physical contact to express their love. And I'm sure everyone knows whether they're a physical touch type person or not. There's people that are like, hands off, back away, stay away. They don't like touching. They don't like that type of physical expression of love. And there's others that they feel starved without it. So again, it's important to know what your love language is and what your significant other's love language is as well. Another love language is acts, and this is acts of service. Acts of service. And acts of service are when you go out of your way to do something that requires work or effort, and you know that your partner is going to really appreciate it. So it's not something that you enjoy doing, but you do it because you know that it's going to mean a lot to your partner or your spouse. So this could be like taking out the trash, or this could be washing the car, or this could be, it's chores, basically. It's chores. And you may not, you benefit from someone doing those chores for you, but I think it's important for everyone to recognize that is an act of love. They're showing you that they love you by putting time and attention into taking care of things that are in your family, that are in your household, things like that. Okay, so it's important to know, I think, if acts of service is important to somebody, because you could be missing love signals from that person if you aren't aware that that person is doing it out of love. Okay, and so I think also, too, another good tip for us, like us personally, is for us to step outside our comfort zone and to do things as acts of service for our loved ones. And so sometimes we do things that we don't want to do or that we absolutely cannot stand, but we do it because we love them. So just something to think about. And then the last love language is time. And that is, that's going to be quality time that's spent together, like absolutely like connecting, and that, words of affirmation can be spoken in that quality time, but There's folks that just really, really appreciate having one-on-one time with their spouse or partner or children, or the love relationships they have in their life, and that quality time is so important. And I do think that it's so important between parents and children, especially, no matter what their age is. So, me being a mom of 2 younger kids, slowing down the pace of the world and actually connecting with them in a time component, and just, listening to them, learning about their day and how things are going. And then also for me to connect with my parents and talk to them and know what's going on in their world, and just spending time and dedicating time to nurture those relationships, I think it is so important. So those are the love languages, and that was just a quick little introduction to each one. But if I grabbed your attention at all on each of those, and if you weren't already familiar with them, I highly recommend for you to check it out. Okay? Yeah. It's Gary Chapman is the author in his love languages. At the bottom of your handout, it says, as you end 2017, when you think about the state of your relationships with others and yourself, how do you feel? So again, you have that gas tank, whether you're empty or full. And again, it's the same choices. So empty is no comment, meh, fine, great, and awesome. So please rank your love bucket. That's another strategy, actually. A love bucket is keeping tabs of how full your love bucket is. That's actually a great technique, is for you to say, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the fullest, how full is your love bucket? And checking in regularly with your partner and spouses and children and family and all that stuff, asking them what is their love bucket range. Are they a 10? Are they completely full? And if they're not, you can say, what can I do to help fill your love bucket today? That's a great strategy to increase love. Okay, the next one is going to be work. Woohoo! Another favorite. Yep, so reflecting on work in 2017. Now, I tell you what, we all dedicate a lot of time to work. So this is an important aspect of our life, because we, some of us spend more time at work than we do in our personal lives. So we want to make work to be as fulfilling and, nurturing of ourselves as much as possible. So to define work, and in case we have any students who want to tune into this presentation as well, work is anything that makes you money, or a project or new business that you hope will make money. If you're a student, this is your studies. School is your job. And that's what I tell my kids is, when they're like, oh, should I get a job? And I'm like, school is your job. That's your number one job, is to do your best always at school and giving it your best effort. So in this area of work, how was your 2017? What was the coolest thing you did at work? Did you learn any new skills last year? What was the most difficult experience you had this past year? What was the most courageous or scary thing you did at work this year? Could it be giving a presentation like this? And having it recorded? Have it recorded and documented forever? Describe one of your most proud moments working this past year. And again, this is for 2017. So reflecting back on how 2017 went, maybe think about conferences you may have attended, or professional learning opportunities, or if you're faculty development opportunities, working with your colleagues, any committees that you may serve on, students, any student organizations that you're a part of, any leadership roles that you serve with the university. Just think about everything that you have been tasked with and put in charge of at work, and to look at that responsibility and to acknowledge your hard work and efforts in those areas. So one of the quotes on the handout, it says, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And that is very true. So to think what your passion is, and to always kind of go back to your purpose and your passion and your goals, and the steps that you need to take to make sure that you meet those goals in those areas that you're looking at. So if you can write a couple of sentences to reflect on how last year went. Again, there's the fuel tank at the bottom for you to measure how last year went in the work area. Was it relatively empty? Was it a meh year? Or was it an awesome year? Or somewhere in between? You might be considering wanting to seek further training opportunities that are related to your job. And, perhaps maybe you've been nervous about asking your supervisor to send you to a professional development opportunity or to a conference. And, I'd like to encourage you to open up those communication conversations and to seek them out and let them know that you're interested in developing your skills even further to further support the university. And hopefully they'll be on board and be supportive of those things as well. Okay, and then the last area is, besides work, is fun. Okay, to reflect on the fun aspect. Now, some of you might be thinking, fun? What's fun? I never do fun things. And then other people might be thinking, fun? I'm constantly doing fun things, and maybe they're not prioritizing their work or other things, because they're really just getting out there and enjoying life. So we all kind of have different perspectives on this, but we definitely all need to prioritize having more fun in our lives. So fun is this is the part of your life that brings you joy and laughter. It's your hobbies, your downtime, your creativity, and personal growth. So I ask you this: did you have fun in 2017? Would you say 2017 was a fun year? Did you do some amazing things last year? And they don't have to be big things. They could be little things, but you had a lot of fun doing them. So anything in particular that was really fun and that you want to do more of in 2018? Describe when you laughed the hardest in 2017. I think that would be a hard one for me to reflect on. When was the last time you laughed the hardest? And can you pinpoint what made you laugh the hardest last year? And just as a side note, as it says on the handout, that it's okay if you are having a hard time thinking of something to write down for this page. This is often an area that we neglect. Okay, we oftentimes do not put ourselves first, especially when we have a lot on our plate. If we have a full work life and a full family life and children, maybe grandchildren, you're heavily involved at work, and sometimes putting ourselves first is very difficult to do. So it says, do not be surprised if you realize you didn't spend enough time in this area. If you didn't have a lot of fun in 2017, I want to ask you, why not? How come? What held you back? So think about that a little bit. Write down a few comments about the level of fun that you have in your life. And as you end in 2017, think about how much or little fun you had and measure how you feel. Draw your line on the word on the meter that looks like the gas tank. So you're empty or full or somewhere in between. I like the quote at the bottom too. It says, time flies whether you're having fun or not. The choice is yours. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. 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 Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. And time passes. Mm. Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at each of the each relationship areas, I think, like you mentioned about, this is Renee, for those who, Renee McBride, and thank you for sharing. So I wanted to repeat some of the things she was saying in case you didn't hear. But Renee was asking about what if your hobbies and what you think is fun might be different than your spouse, or maybe you have different than your spouse or partner, and maybe they have different interests and skill sets in a different area. And how do you kind of bring those together, or do both individuals just kind of go off and do their own thing and have fun in their individual way, or do you come together? I would recommend obviously a little bit of both, that you develop hobbies that you enjoy doing together that will bring you together and add closeness to your relationship. But if there's different things that if you mentioned if your husband likes sports and if you weren't a big sports person, I would probably, going back to the love languages thing, I would say that folks may think about stretching themselves and stepping out of their comfort zone and doing like an act of service where you participate in an activity that they enjoy doing and you participate with them so that you can develop that side of your relationship. And obviously they would do the same for you, that they would do something that you enjoy doing, that you love, and they express interest, and it's an act of service. You know, they do it because not that they like it, but they know that you like it and that it's important to them, or, you know, that it's important to you for them to be participatory in it, that they would make those strides to do that, you know. But is it okay for every person to have their own interests in hobbies and those kind of things? Yeah, I think that's absolutely healthy. Could be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I I think I think it's a love bucket thing in that asking all of your relationships where they're at with their love bucket. How much love do they feel from you, and also how they're reciprocating back to you as well, because they need to ask you the same question. How's your love bucket? Is there anything I can do to help fill your love bucket? And but every relationship, if you want it to flourish, needs to be nurtured. You know, there needs to be time and energy and hard work put into that relationship. You know, it's that old adage, you know, where the grass is watered, that's where it's green. So where you water your grass, that's where you're going to have the most beautiful lawn ever. So I would just, you know, be cautious and careful that you're putting time and attention into all those areas that you want to see flourish. And, you know, probably, unfortunately, if things grow apart so drastically, then obviously that could be why relationships might come to an impasse, you know, and be like, hey, I kind of don't remember why we why we came together in the first place. So it does. And I just think if for maintaining relationships that you kind of have to go back to how you acted and behaved while you were dating. So that to me has to be like a pursuing thing. Everyone wants to be pursued. You know, pursued is if you remember when you're dating, you do things that you don't like to do, but because you like them and you want their attention. You want to earn their love, and you want to be in a relationship with them. So you often did those things that they like to do. So so it didn't become about, you know, what can you do for me? It's still a what can I do for you? You know, love is not selfish. You know, so yeah, so that's what, just those kind of things, just be thinking about. But those are all fantastic questions to be reflecting on, of where there could be any areas where, you know, people may want to strive to seek improvement in some of those areas. You know, maybe some areas have dwindled a little bit, or the spark has, you know, it's not out, but it could be diminished, but it could be brought back to life. You know, it could be brought back to a roaring fire. Yeah. Woo. Okay, so let's see. So for the fun part, we're on the fun, and we just finished up reflecting on how much fun you had in 2017, or if you didn't have a lot of fun, to make a change. Make that a change, and to think about how to incorporate more fun in 2018. Okay, so the next page is, okay, now you're ready to complete 2017. And there's a reflective page in the packet, in the handout, that says 2017 was the year that so kind of sum it up and say what big things occurred in 2017 for you. 2017 was the year I blank. What'd you do? I made some major mistakes in 2017, and this is what I learned from them. Next question is, one thing I regret in 2017 is, and lastly, always important to end on a positive note, I'm really proud of myself for what? What did you do last year that you were really, really proud of yourself for? And you give yourself a lot of kudos for. Think about things where you really had the courage to tackle something that was really hard and scary, and you did it anyways. I don't know about you guys, but I tell you what, as I get older, the time goes by faster and faster. Every single year, it's like it's New Year's already. You're kidding. It feels like we were still in the first decade of the 2000s, and now we're almost wrapping up the teen years. Exponential. You know, it's like the year. Sometimes I've heard people use the phrase, "The years go by fast, but the days go by slow." Maybe some days go by slow, but I'm in my early 40s, and boy, and my kids are grown up before my eyes. You know, everyone always told me, "Oh, your kids, you know, enjoy it while it lasts. They'll be grown up before you know it." And I'm like, okay, you know, thanks for when they were first born, like, thanks for the advice. And guess what? They're right. That's why they told me that. They're blink, and you know, my son's going to be 16 in July, and my daughter is 12, and she'll be entering junior high next year. And I know before they know it, they're going to be out of the house, and you know, having their own families and forging their own careers and all those things. And yeah. Yeah, it just goes one after another. Yeah, all the holidays and yep. So that. I think that's why it's important just to set like traditions. You know, do traditions and things that you can pass on to your kids that are important. And you know, this is going to sound. I'll share this with everybody real quick, but like this is silly, but perfume. There's a certain brand of perfume I wear, and I thought about last year, and I've been wearing it for the last several years because it's my favorite. And I thought about switching it up for my birthday. I usually get a new bottle of perfume on my birthday, which is in July. And I thought about switching up the fragrance. And you know what made me think? I go, you know what? No, I want to stick with this fragrance because after I'm gone, I want my kids I want this fragrance to represent me. Like, I want them to be able to have this fragrance so that they can, you know, smell it and that they'll be like, that's my mom. Yeah? Yeah? Yes? So you make their favorite dishes and oh, okay, yeah. So you associate a meal or associate a specific smell. Absolutely. Well, it's our senses. It's all about our senses and where it takes you back. Those are our strongest memories. Are when we involve senses. That has to do with learning too, with learning advisement. Okay, so moving forward, now the next part of the presentation is to look ahead. And now we're already in 2018. Hey there. We're already in 2018, and we're 2 months in, but we still have 10 more months to go. So if you set up some goals for yourself for 2018, I know a lot of people aren't big New Year's resolution folks because, you know, why set a New Year's resolution if you're not going to follow through and carry through with it? And I totally understand that. But I think it's still important to, if you're going to set some goals, that you write them down and you spend a little bit of time thinking about what steps that need to be taken to help you achieve those goals. And, you know, just reflecting. That's what this whole Still Healthy presentation was about, was just reflecting where you've been, where are you now, and where you want to go, and what steps you need to take to get you there. And any new goal takes an idea or a thought or something is, you know, impressed on your heart that you know that you want to focus on, and you go for it and you do it, and you set that, you chart that course. And don't hold yourself back either. Don't hold yourself back. All right, so 2018, best year ever. This is something that basically you're going to go through those 4 areas of our lives with health, love, work, and fun, and set some goals. So the rest of the packet, the first part, it says in 2018, best year ever. I'm looking forward to 2018 because what do you hope to do in 2018? And next one, in 2018, I plan to spend more time doing what? And in 2018, I plan to spend a lot less time. I like that one. I like the last question there because I think for some folks, it may be easier to address what they want to stop doing instead of what they want to start doing. Because stopping bad habits can be just as productive and effective than starting new good habits, okay? Because there's a lot of things in our lives that we can do to stop and getting rid of bad habits that we have become accustomed to because they're habitual, and we can spend time breaking those habits. And that will lead us into a book recommendation I have at the end of this presentation as well. Okay, so for the time that we have now, because we're going to wrap up here in just a few moments, but with your packet, if you have the packet, now the next thing to do is to take each of the 4 categories. The next one is health, or should say the first one is health. It says, thinking ahead to 2018, what are your hopes and dreams for your health? What are your hopes and dreams for your health? And then it wants you to target up to 5 goals. Not that you have to have 5 or more. You can decide on how many you would like to focus on. Okay, but small, manageable, attainable goals. Things that you can do, steps that you can do every single day to help you to achieve these goals. That's how you're going to make this goal come to fruition. And then it's important once you come up with these goals that you reflect on, why are these important to you? Why are these goals important? And what steps need to be taken to achieve these goals you have in your health? And again, it could be stopping some bad habits. And even if you just pick one bad habit and you focus on that to remove that habit from your life, then that could snowball into your next focus. And before you know it, you have these small, little negligible changes that add up to a big change overall after time. So you're going to have this same format for all 4 areas. Same questions, same critical reflection to help you get to decide what your goals are going to be, why are these goals important to you, and what steps you need to take to help you achieve them. For achieving them, you may need a partner to help keep you accountable to these goals, elicit support from your family, your friends, your loved ones, your coworkers, your colleagues. Humans are meant to be social. And for goals, you need to be surrounded by supportive people that will help support you and not sabotage you in your goals and the goals that you're working on. So the next area is love. So again, thinking about the love relationships that you had in the past, or that the relationships and the level of appreciation and happiness, and see if there's room for improvement and what goals you would like to focus on in that area of your world. And really, I mean, if we all can manage to achieve some of these goals in 1 or 2 of these areas, can make a big difference in our overall happiness levels. If it's at work, or if we add a little bit more fun into our world, a little bit more, getting out there in nature, traveling, things that you might be putting off on hold that you're like, why am I holding us back? Let's start doing these things that we want to do. After love is the work. So looking ahead for this year, 2018, what are some goals you may have for work and professional development, and for school, for students who are watching this presentation? What are your goals for school? What's the next year going to look like for you with your coursework? And I would encourage everyone to set goals for your studying and your schedule, and looking at ways that you can increase your skill set in areas that will help you be successful at work or at school. So this is my next slide, but this is the slide that sums up the goals for each of the new categories for 2018. So, what are your hopes and dreams? Create your top 5 goals for each areas of your life. excuse me, why are these goals important to you? And to achieve them, you need to. And the last category is going to be in the fun category. Wrapping up there is the fun category. Brainstorm and think about some fun things that you might want to do this year in 2018. I think I would encourage you to step out of your comfort zone as much as you can. As scary as that is, it can be so exhilarating when you find that you can do it and that you're successful. And it doesn't mean that there's not going to be setbacks or hardships along the way, per se, but that you can do it, that you can do all kinds of things once you set your mind to it and you just do them. So kind of, face your fears and face your anxieties and find out that they're not as bad as what you might have envisioned them to be. And that is so rewarding, I think, when you see it on the other side, when you come through a hard time and you see the new version of yourself and what you learned through that experience. It can be very rewarding. Okay, so I think we're wrapping up the presentation. I think my next slide is this guy. I wanted to remember how we're talking about for goals for 2018, that it might be important to not only establish new goals for establishing new habits and new things to do anew in the new year, but maybe some habits that you might be interested in breaking to set yourself free and to remove the confines of our past habitual behaviors. So I came across the work of this licensed counselor and social worker. Her name is Amy Morin, and she wrote she wrote a blog. She wrote a blog back in 2013 on 13 things mentally strong people don't do. And I came across it on social media a couple of years ago, and all of it really resonated with me really, really a lot, quite strongly, I suppose. And these are all like wishes for me. These are things I wish that I, did a better job, or that I think we all could say that we do a better job. And I mean, honestly, you could pick one thing on this list on our top 13 things that mentally strong people don't do. And if you could just tackle one of these things, I think we would all feel so much better moving forward. So, and some of them are harder to do than others, but so she wrote a blog, and it went viral in 2013, and then she wrote a book about it. So she wrote it into a book, and now it's a bestseller. It's an international bestseller, and her fame has just exploded since that blog. And, her background is a clinical social worker and a licensed counselor, and she knows a thing or two about mental toughness because she has gone through a lot of tragedy, in her short life. In her early 20s, she lost her mom. Her mom passed unexpectedly, and then she got married, and a couple years into her marriage, she lost her husband, tragically. I think she was 26 years old, and she was widowed. And so to lose two people that meant so much to her in a very vulnerable age of your 20s, when you're still trying to figure out your world and what you're doing and what your purpose is, obviously she was in so much pain, going through that journey. And she developed a lot of mental strength, and that you can get through hard times, and she shares that with her counseling and working with patients and all kinds of things. And I believe she wrote a new book on 13 things mentally strong parents don't do. Recently, yes. So she's exactly, and talking about how to raise children that are mentally tough, that they're not entitled, and that you let them work through their failures. You let them fail. And that's how they're going to learn how to be successful in the real world. And so she just has a lot of great information. So I just wanted to share her strategies or her book with you in case you wanted to check it out this year in 2018. Another person that I found to be very inspirational, both for this presentation, there's two people. So Amy Morin is on the bottom there. But this entire presentation actually came from, I wanted to credit her, is Mel Robbins. She's on the top there. So Mel is short for Melanie, but Melanie Robbins is an American on-air CNN commentator.